Spooky season is almost upon us since we're a few short weeks away from October. A better way to welcome the upcoming month than by sharing creepy stories. For today's video, we'll be sharing with you stories that will make you shiver in fear. So if you'd like a good scare, then keep on watching. The Subway Stalker. Some of us, if not all, have the misfortune of being stalked, which is one of the most distressing things to experience. The story we're about to tell you is based on a true story we've managed to stumble upon on Reddit titled The Subway Stalker by a Redditor with the username Oddwolf. Her scary story happened pretty much like how everyone else did, slowly until it escalated and got out of hand. At the time of her story, our heroine was working at Subway. Like most people, are too polite for their own good. She's short and petite and feels bad if she acted rude towards people, which some took advantage of. She then narrates how a guy, who appears to be in his mid-30s to early 40s, started coming in daily for lunch. This man became fascinated with her, especially at how her ears were stretched because of her tunnel earrings as well as the piercings on her face, which he used as a topic to chat with her. Even after ringing his order, the man continued to watch her as she worked for as long as 2 hours. He'd stare at her nonstop as she did her job and assisted the other customers. This became a habit for the guy, who would spend the next 2 weeks trying to get to know her and even continuously asked her number, which she tried to deter. He even tried to get her hooked by saying that he has several plugs and tunnels that he'd like to give her so she can wear them for him, to which she politely refused. One particular event when she thought things were getting out of hand happened when she was alone in the store with her manager, leaving her to go to the bank. It was a slow day and she was just chilling in the back room, scrolling through her phone when she heard the door chime. When she looked up, no one was there until she saw a man walk past the front of the store quickly, like he was in a hurry. After that, the phone rang, to which she answered quickly. "Thanks for calling Subway. How can I help you?" She answered. As if knowing who she was, the man on the other line replied, "This is the girl with the nice ears, right?" Try not to freak out, she replied, yes, who is this?" To this, he answered back with a creepy question saying, "Are you alone in the back room right now? Are you working by yourself?" Without introducing himself, the girl already knew who it was and immediately hung up the phone. This became the breaking point for her and texted her manager regarding her situation in the hopes of her manager's return quickly. Unfazed, the man called again, and this time he asked her weird questions such as what she'd do with him behind locked doors, if she had a boyfriend, and as to why she was playing hard to get, and so on. As soon as her manager returned, she told her everything. They thought he tried to lay low after that, but come lunchtime he called again, and this time it was her manager who answered the call. Her manager never disclosed to her what the man said on the phone, but the girl knew it was unpleasant given how the look on her manager's face was enough to give shivers down her spine. The only thing her manager shared with her is that he told the man that should he call or make an appearance in the store again, she'd call the police on him. They thought that was the last of him, but both of them were mistaken. A week later, as the girl was clocking out of work and preparing to walk towards her car at the front, she looked up and saw the man standing beside her car, looking inside it. Admittedly, she was at fault since she left the back door unlocked, keeping a close watch on him. What he did next is one of the creepiest things she witnessed. He crawled inside her car and shut the door. He was trying to hide behind one of the back seats in her car and do God knows what upon her entering the vehicle. To this, the girl's manager was the one who locked the front door of the store and called the police on him. When authorities arrived, they practically had to drag him out of the car to arrest him. Found among his belongings were a butcher knife, rope, and the scariest of all, a rag with chloroform in it. To this day, if she didn't happen to look at the window at the right moment, she would have been one of the many missing persons in the United States. Catching up with a friend. The next story we have involves an unlikely reunion that ended up with everyone getting the fright of their lives. With her high school reunion coming up, Barbara decided to attend in the hopes of catching up with her high school friends from years back. Now 37, she flew to the nearest airport and rented a car to get her destination, which is located 35 miles through a rural and almost abandoned part of the country. Just as she was nearing town, she saw someone at the side of the road 3 miles outside of town who flagged her car down. As fate would have it, it's one of her high school batchmates, who we'd like to call Jim. Jim gets into the car and wasn't long before the two started talking. Barbara hasn't seen Jim for nearly 2 decades, and according to her, he looked exactly like how she remembered him, though a bit older. As soon as they got into town, she asked him if he wanted to come to the reunion and have a drink, to which he declined. "No, just take me home," Jim said. His parents lived only a few blocks from Barbara's house, and as she turned in that direction, he directed her to take him to the outskirts of town. She obliged and drove along, wherein she soon saw a mobile home park out there, which she assumed was where he lived. As they reached the end of the turnoff, he asked to be dropped off right then and there. "Just drop me here," Jim expressed. "It was good to see you again." To that, he walks off to the night. Thinking nothing of it, Barbara heads off to the reunion where she met some of her old classmates. There was a lot of catching up to do and they fell into an easy talk, and since it was a reunion, they discussed who will be showing up at the reunion, and to this, she chimed in that he met Jim. Barr narrated that she picked him up 3 miles east of town and dropped him off on the outskirts at the mobile home park. Upon hearing this, everyone went quiet, and even the guy singing the karaoke stopped and put the mic down. Barb's cousins went white as snow, which left Barb wondering what's going on. Finally, someone stepped forward and told her the truth. "Barb, Jim died on that curve 8 years ago." She was told, "Rolled his car. We were all at his funeral." Taken aback at the revelation, Barb felt dizzy and proceeded to go back to her car to compose herself by taking deep breaths. And as if by coincidence, a local newspaper sat on display with a date going back 8 years ago that contained Jim's obituary. Bonus story, The Man Under the Bed. A young woman narrates a true-to-life incident where a strange man hid under her bed. The girl just recently moved into her first apartment and was still working on the process of moving in. Her apartment door locks automatically when it closes. She was talking with her boyfriend when she went out to get her mail outside the apartment complex. As she returned, she sat on the bed and rummaged through her new mail while still on the phone when she dropped the phone on the floor and landed under the bed. The phone landed further, so she had to lie down and stretch her arms to get it, and as she did so, she was surprised to discover that there was someone under her bed. A man was lying with his back towards her and his head to his chest, which obscured his face. Trying her best not to scream her lungs out, she casually retrieved the phone and answered, "Sorry, I dropped my phone. I'm just gonna take a shower and call you back." Her bathroom was located beside her bed, so she quickly walked in, locked the door, turned on the shower. She jumped out of the window and called the police. As she stood outside quivering with fear, she was instructed to go across the street, and she was later joined by her boyfriend since she called him after talking with the cops. Soon as authorities arrived, she handed them the keys and proceeded inside. Moments later, they emerged with a tired-looking man in tow. They later told her that he was waiting outside his bathroom door with one of his kitchen knives, waiting for her as she walked out. And that wrapped up today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode.